What's up also? Welcome back to the channel. So I have good news and bad news. We have the Ninja H2 tank, and I felt like I wanted to take a couple of days to kind of get my thoughts together because I want to remain transparent. You know, I owe the H2 community, followers, subscribers, whomever, you know, an update on this tank. This initially started out as a prototype, and what had to happen was I had to send a tank off overseas to include some of the shrouds and then some of the tank sides and some other stuff. And I did some testing. So I had pump gas in it for, I would say, a good month, at least a month. I was initially going to start off with race fuel, but I figured the average H2 owner, or motorcyclist for that matter, is going to use pump gas, especially as a street bike. So put pump gas in it, let it sit for an extended period of time, and it did not do as well as I thought it would. Now, I did speak with the owner of Kamikaze, and he's well aware of some of the changes that need to be made. And basically what happened, or what he thinks is happening, is the ethanol content here in the States is quite different from there in the Middle East or overseas. And so with that being said, he is actually entertaining the thought of creating a fuel cell versus the actual like all carbon fiber tank. Now before I actually show you, I was going to use a bore scope and do all of this work, but it's probably not, there's no need for me to do that. So just because you'll be able to see it, I don't even have to look all the way into the tank, like you'll be able to see it. So what was the issues with the tank? The issues that I found, and again, reminder, this is a prototype. So in the front of the tank, you know, where it mounts up to the frame in the front, the holes were slightly off. And I mean, you can kind of see that if you look at my previous video when this was first test fitted. The second thing that I did not necessarily like about it was, so where the tank mounts up to the frame in the back, like there's a bracket that goes on the tank that mounts to the actual frame in the rear. And that was a little off. Now, again, Kamikaze is well aware of some of the changes that need to be made. Again, this is a prototype. The third thing that I disliked was I was not able to utilize the O-ring or gasket here where you mount the pump. And so what I had to use was, you know, it comes with gasket maker RTV, but I found when I went to test this tank and I pulled the pump or tried to get the pump off with all of the RTV, it was a lot more work than I anticipated. And I honestly didn't like that either. So the average H2 owner, or hell, bike owner for that matter, is not going to want to do the amount of work that's involved for this tank in its current form. Now, if and when Kamikaze decides, if they decide to do a fuel cell, I think that'll be ideal. You know, regardless of what anyone says, I've had several either all carbon fiber tanks or fiberglass tanks, and I've found that over time they just tend to delaminate, especially if you're using race gas, you know. So I know there's a lot of naysayers out there. I had my carbon fiber tank, I want to say it was lined, professionally lined, at least twice. It was also sent off to like carbon fiber gurus, and there was nothing that we could do. So, you know, it's a matter of time before it just delaminates. The other thing is, I also spoke to vendors, you know, VP Racing, I1 Moto, for the fiberglass stuff as well. And they basically told me, even though they line their tanks, eventually the lining will give out, just because whether it's the resin or is not adhering to whatever the material it is made out of. But it's just gonna happen. So I can show you now, based upon my phone, because I don't even have to go all the way in it. what's going on inside the tank. And I hope you guys can see it. Let me zoom in, let me get in here close. So as you can see, I'm trying not to make a shadow, but if you guys and gals can see, it has, you can see that it's already delaminated a little bit. Those are chips and pieces. And then as we go under, I know it's kind of bright, I'm trying to make it bright so you guys can see. That glare is irritating. Let me try to do this. Let me turn this light off and see if that's better. Yeah, that's probably better, a lot better. Yeah, okay. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of delamination going on, and a lot of the tank is like this. Now, when this happened on my BMW S1000 carbon tank, right? Basically what happened was all of this gunk and nonsense, and this also happened on a couple of fiberglass tanks too. All of this will eventually, all this resin and stuff will clog your fuel pump, which probably will end up starving or clogging your injectors. It'll starve your bike and then cause you problems down the road. I think the other thing would be on my drag bike, particularly with the fiberglass tank, I think it basically melted the resin and somehow made some of the material made it through the injectors, and then it caused all of that to cure on my intakes or my valves basically. So that was a headache because I had to get my injectors clean. I had to do some valve stuff. It's just a headache. So this is something for all of you to think about. Again, I'm trying to remain as transparent as possible. Yeah. Now, let me turn the light back on. Let me see if I can pick it up. And like I said, sorry for the glare, but I'm trying my best to show everybody this update. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that Kamikaze is not a great company. I mean, it takes a lot, you know. You can tell that there was a lot of thought and effort and such put into this tank, you know. And they're there. Like, they just got a couple of things to work out, and I believe this tank will be badass. It's just a couple of things. Now, let's see if there was a lot of stuff shaking around. And as you can see, all of that just came out of the tank because it's dry now. So it's unfortunate. Like I said, it was a nice tank. It's a nice tank. And that is my update. And again, outside of this H2 tank, check out Kamikaze's website. Rashid, Alif, and all of them, like, they're doing great things over there. Like, I'm not hating on the tank. I understand it's a prototype, and I know those who was waiting on this may be a little bit disappointed, but it's all good because eventually this will work itself out and it'll be fixed. So thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'm transparent. Thanks for watching.